Hello, welcome to the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I'm Chris Porter, alongside David Schiele, who's in for Evan Klowski, who is spending time with his family on this 4th of July weekend. And Dave, before we even get started, let me say this. I'm fired up about this show. You're looking G-O-O-D good, and I'm ready to work with the man I call the Dink.
Hey, man, it's going to be a great time, bro. And we've got a good show going on this week, man. We got some big moves to talk about. We could be looking at a future dynasty in Sunrise. We're talking hoops, another year for LeBron, and a surprise candidate for the Knicks head coaching job. But we're going to start things off on the diamond where the All-Stars are set to shine. The starters for the Midsummer Classic have been revealed. No player from the Rays or Marlins got a starting nod. However, Cubs outfielder Kyle Tucker, who grew up in Tampa and was a star player at Plant High School, received his first career starter election. At the time of his election, he was hitting near 300 with 17 homers and 20 stolen bases. Big congrats to him. As a surprise to no one, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani were the top vote getters in their respective leagues. The rest of the rosters are decided through a combination of fan and player vote. The two sides will then meet in Georgia on July 15th at Truist Park, the home of my Atlanta Braves. Shout out to Ronald Acuna, by the way. He earned a starting nod in the outfield and didn't even play until late May. Now, when it comes to the Rays, I think fans have definitely slept on a couple guys. I feel like Jonathan Aranda should have received many more votes than he did. Junior Caminero is not perfect, but he's extremely exciting to watch. We'll talk about him a little bit later. And I cannot forget Yandy Diaz, who should be a reserve for DH in the American League. Chris, how do you feel about the All-Star voting?
I'm feeling some kind of way about the voting system. I think it's time for change. Cincinnati Reds shortstop Elly De La Cruz being snubbed for the National League All-Star starting lineup. This man leads National League shortstops in several offensive categories: home runs, runs batted in, slugging percentage, runs scored, and OPS. I know De La Cruz could still be selected as a reserve or as an injury replacement, but Red fans, you should be screaming to the mountaintops your frustration, because this process is whack. Whack, David, whack. To the NFL now, with the Jaguars' top two stars along the defensive line. Edge rushers Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen are expected to put up big numbers for new defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli this fall. Both guys are lighter this offseason. How many of you guys have struggled with your weight? Me. I'm not body shaming anybody because it's been one of my biggest struggles, but how often do you hear someone say they want you to be bigger, heavier, gain weight? Well, that was the case for Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker last season. Former DC Ryan Nielsen had both guys playing at a heavier weight. Hines-Allen says at one point he weighed up to 285 pounds. Hines-Allen had a decent season in 2024, this after a record season of 17.5 sacks in 2023. Walker had double-digit sacks. Both guys talked about how carrying more weight impacted them.
I'm not going to use it as an excuse, but I mean, it definitely played a little, I felt like it played a little bit of toll on me close to the end of the season as we kind of got on, but it has its pros and its cons.
You know, my mindset was always, to be as dominant, but, it was a little, obviously holding a little bit more weight kind of, puts a little bit more wear and tear on the body, and just, it was a lot. Too much.
They look really good. I love what they've done this offseason, and our strength staff's done an unbelievable job with these guys. They've been grinding them, and it's showing out here,
So good news to report. Both guys are lighter this offseason. And listen to this, to give you some perspective on just how bad the Jaguars defense was in 2024. Worst in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. Our Jags just above them. And as you know, having covered the Panthers because they played the Bucs, they gave up a historic amount of points last season.
Yeah, they definitely did. So that is not good for the Jags, but hopefully they will be better coming into this season. Chris, let's go to the other side of the ball for Jacksonville. There's a former first-round pick along that offensive line who could be in a battle for his starting job.
Yes, sir. Anton Harrison, the Jaguars' first-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, is a guy that many believe will be in a fight for his starting job during training camp. As you know, the Jags brought in some guys to add competition and depth to that O-line. Anton Harrison had an outstanding rookie season. Year two injuries and him struggling to run block, in 2024. In fact, you can basically say the same about the entire offensive line last season. Listen, when you turn on the tape, you can see Anton's athleticism, his ability to pass pro on the edge. His head coach, Liam Cohen, saying Anton is smart. He understands the why. He can go where he wants to go, but he just needs him to do it consistently. When we talk to your offensive line coach, he says you show the flashes. Your physical attributes are outstanding. What do you have to do to be consistent?
I feel like it's all personal, it's all mental. Obviously, I work every day, bust my every day to be the best I can be. But it's just coming out here and doing it. Really, it's just coming out here, focusing, not worry about anything else, doing my job because I know I can do it and I know I can be one of the best.
Now, one of the guys the Jaguars added via free agency is Chuma Edoga. We believe Edoga and Harrison will be in a battle for that starting spot at right tackle. And I'll say this, when I was talking to Anton, I said, do you believe you're going to be the starter? He said with no hesitation, yes, I'll be the man.
Well, I would hope somebody would say that, because if I'm a head coach and one of my players said, I believe I'll be the backup, there ain't no position battle. Because you know what? You're right. You are the backup, and you're going to be taking second-team reps throughout training camp. I'm going to just say it like that.
Testify.
All right, let's move on down to Tampa Bay, man. There's a rumor swirling that the Bucs are going to reveal a white road version of their creamsicle jersey later this month. Now, this rumor has some legs because the jersey may have been leaked by Alan Peters, who designed the Bucs 50 Seasons patch earlier this year. He featured the white creamsicle and subsequent patch in a now deleted Instagram post back in February. I have seen screenshots of that post, and Chris, I gotta say, it looks sick, and I mean that in a good way. But what's ironic is the Bucs are bad in these jerseys. They don't win in the creamsicles. They didn't lose back then. They're not winning in them now. And so they lost to the Lions 2 seasons ago, lost to the Falcons last season. Now they want to bring that bad juju on the road. I'm a superstitious person when it comes to football. If a certain uniform is leading to losses, get rid of it. Stop wearing it. But again, I cannot deny that the rumored white creamsicle looks really good. It might be in my top 5 for throwbacks in the NFL this year, and I'm wondering, what are some of your favorite throwback jerseys, NFL or otherwise?
First of all, let me say the amen to what you just said about those jerseys. But the two I like, Philadelphia Eagles, Kelly Greens, and the Los Angeles Rams throwbacks. You like that? All right. You feeling it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. The Miami Dolphins have been
that.
busy
I'm with
this
you.
week.
I'm with you.
Trading former Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 3-time All-Pro corner who has 24 interceptions in his career, joining a loaded cornerback group in Pittsburgh who signed Brunswick native Darius Slay Jr. in free agency earlier this offseason, and also have an incumbent starter Joey Porter Jr., no relation. We've been told Jalen will receive a $1.5 million raise this season. It's been reported that he'll make about $26 million. The Dolphins also finally traded tight end Jonnu Smith to the Steelers in exchange for 3-time All-Pro safety Minka Fitzpatrick and a pick swap. As part of the trade, Miami is sending a 2027 7th-round pick to the Steelers and will receive a 2027 5th-round pick back from Pittsburgh. Obviously, for the Steelers, it appears they're putting all their chips on the table, David, for a championship. Adding Ramsey makes sense because they've got some talented receivers that they've got to face in that AFC North division. Jamar Chase, you heard of him. T. Higgins, you heard of him. I think Mike Tomlin's squad is still the 3rd best team in that division.
Yeah, I also want to mention that the Dolphins traded for tight end Darren Waller, who is coming out of retirement. The Giants are sending Waller in a 2027 7th-round pick to the Dolphins for a conditional 2026 6th-round pick. And I think it's good for Waller to come back to football because rapping was not the answer, my boy. Don't do that again, okay? Just leave it alone. As for things in the hockey world, the Florida Panthers are on the cusp of being the NHL's next dynasty. Star players Aaron Ekblad, Sam Bennett, and Brad Marchand did not test unrestricted free agency. They all agreed to come back to Florida before the market opened with new long-term deals. Ekblad and Bennett received 8-year contracts, while Marchand signed a 6-year deal. When general manager Bill Zito was asked how he was able to pull this off, he said, "I didn't. This was 100% those guys wanting to be part of something that they created." And Chris, what they've created is a monster. This team is stacked with talent for a long time to come. Their Stanley Cup window is as wide as the Nutty Professor's waistband. This is great news for Panthers fans and horrific news for everyone involved with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not good news for the Lightning. The Bolts could not keep their stars after 3 straight trips to the Stanley Cup final. It culminated with Steven Stamkos going to Nashville last year. If Tampa Bay wants to get back to the top of the Hockey Mountain, it's through the Panthers. And all I got to say is, good luck with that.
All I got to say is, amen, my friends. You're doing your thing. You're preaching here today. I like that, Deke. One is early in his career and already showing signs of greatness. The other is giving us at least one more year, raising the bar for the future. The impacts on the game next in the Ultimate Rush.
Time now for the Ultimate Rush. We are going to go take a topic from the sports world that grabbed our attention this week and talk about the impact on its sport.
There's just one catch. We only have 1 minute to make our point. David starts us off with a young phenom gaining some attention.
All right, you got it. First, happy birthday, Junior Caminero. Let me say that. The Rays third baseman just turned 22 years old, but what he did at age 21 was truly historic. Through Tampa Bay's first 73 games, he had 19 homers and 50 RBI. Only 9 other players in Major League history put up those type of numbers at age 21 or younger before the All-Star break. That includes Mel Ott, Albert Pujols, and Miguel Cabrera. His game, is it perfect? No. He hits into a ton of double plays. He also is prone to errors as a fielder, but again, he's only 22, so that means there is so much room for him to grow. He has already set a high floor for himself, but his ceiling is so far above that now. You can't help but be excited for what this young man is going to do in the major leagues, hopefully for the Rays for most of his career. Chris, I'm wondering if there was a young player you saw and just knew that he or she would be a legend. What you got?
Back in the day, John Carlos Stanton. He played here for our Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They were then the Jacksonville Suns. The ballpark is across the street. He could hit the ball all the way to Tampa. So he was a phenom that it turned out pretty good. All right, the King, LeBron James. I'm sorry. The King, LeBron James, recently exercised his $52.6 million option with the Los Angeles Lakers for next season, further confirming that he'll become the first player in NBA history to play a 23rd season. LeBron wants to compete for a championship next season and potentially beyond. His agent, Rich Paul, says LeBron will be closely monitoring the Lakers' moves and whether the team is positioning itself this offseason to field a title-contending roster. Here's what we do know. For the first time in his career, LeBron James is not in control of what the organization does. Since LeBron arrived in the City of Angels, the Lakers have done everything LeBron has asked, from hiring other coaches, adding certain players, and the team drafting his son. But there's a new star in Hollywood, Luka Doncic, an international star who only has 1 year left on his contract, and a ball of the Lakers have to sign to a long-term deal and build around this team. I don't say this. I don't think LeBron is going to be in Hollywood this season. David, I think he's going to take his talent somewhere else.
But where? That's my thing. I don't know where he's going to take his talents. If it ain't L.A., where is he going to go? And then who wants to deal with the whole LeBron James headache in the locker room? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Staying with the NBA, the New York Knicks have a new head coach in Mike Brown. However, there was a chance our tribal chief, Don Staley, could have been in charge. The University of South Carolina athletics director confirmed that the Knicks reached out to the Gamecocks head coach concerning their head coach opening. It was later reported by The Athletic that Staley made a good impression during that conversation with the Knicks. Again, the job is now filled with Mike Brown being the guy. But can you imagine if Don Staley, who has won 3 national titles at South Carolina, was hired as New York's head coach? I fully believe she would have done a great job. The Knicks were Eastern Conference contenders this year. They would have remained contenders under Staley, and I don't think it's a stretch to say she could have had this squad in the NBA Finals.
I absolutely agree. When you talk about Dawn Staley, she is a winner. She has won on absolute every level that she's played. I watched her in college battle those great Tennessee teams back in the day when she had the short haircut and the bang in the front. Then you saw what she did at Temple. You see what she's doing at South Carolina. WNBA, she could coach there possibly. Philly's getting an expansion team, but that would have been a good fit for her. The Big Apple, she can handle the bright lights. She's from Philly. I'm with it, my friend.
Yeah, it could have happened, but it's all good. Maybe in another season, right? We'll see what the Lord has for her. Now to the heart of the game. This is a story that goes beyond the X's and O's and is one of the biggest reasons why we love sports.
I don't have to tell you this. It's brutally hot, folks, and even at Wimbledon. And it's not just hard on the players, but fans are dealing with the heat as well. Carlos Alcaraz stepped up in the middle of his match after he noticed an elderly fan in distress. He immediately paused the match and helped get the fan some water. After getting some care, the fan was conscious and alert. They got things back to going. 2 things I like about this. 1, Carlos cared about the fan. The other, even in distress, David, the fan still wanted to know if Carlos won.
Yeah, because that fan truly is a fan, right? But when you just talk about being a person and loving your neighbor, that's what that looks like, man. Let's put this on pause. Let's make sure that this fan is okay. So I love to see stuff like that. That's awesome.
Come on, somebody.
All right, coming up, a change to the Jags roster. a proven player released. Up next, we talk to the man who has some big shoes to fill at tight end for Jacksonville.
The Jaguars' new regime is placing
Welcome back, everybody. The Jaguar.
Go ahead, my friend.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, the Jaguars' new regime is placing their bets on third-year tight end Brenton Strange this fall. Chris, you got it.
Yeah, the Jags shocked fans when they released Evan Ingram. I caught up with Strange, who talked about being the man this fall, his relationship with Ingram, and the Penn State legacy at tight end.
They have flown by. They've flown by really fast. It feels like yesterday I was just getting off that bus and walking into the stadium.
We talked to you back in January. You were saying there were some things you wanted to work on during the offseason. What were those things, and where are you at on those?
Mostly it was just route running things, like getting in and out of my cuts and just being more efficient running. And I definitely did that. Spent a lot of time this offseason working really hard, 2 workouts a day.
When this team let go of Evan Ingram, did you feel like that was their way of saying they have total confidence in your ability?
Most definitely, yeah. I think that they told me that they have confidence in me, but it's a different type of weight on your shoulders. It's a different type of discipline that comes with it. And obviously it's my first time doing this, so I'm still learning right now. Like this OTAs, this is a process for learning. So I think that this period right here has taught me a lot so far, and it gives me a good stepping stone to go into camp and go into the season. So obviously there's still a lot that I want to get better at, and preparing being one of those things. So I'm excited to go into camp now with what I do know and how to approach everything.
Penn State obviously known for producing good tight ends. Could you just talk about what it means to play tight end there, and do you still have relationships with those guys?
Of course, man. We work out all summer long together. We're brothers. None of us would have got this far if it wasn't for each other. So I'm excited. Obviously, Pat Fryermuth, I was in the room with him, Theo Johnson, Giants, and then Tyler Warrens with the Colts now. So I'm excited that we get to play them 2 times a year, and I get to see one of my best friends, man. So just tradition, man, legacy, lineage. That's what we wanted to do when we got there, and it's just about continuing to build onto that and then being great players in the NFL.
As you can imagine, the Jaguars love Brenton Strange's ability to run, block, and catch, and we all know a good tight end is a quarterback's best friend. If the Jags' receiving trio of Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and De'Ami Brown pans out, Strange could be a guy who could have a breakout season because the defense won't be focusing on him.
Look, Chris, I will forever disagree in the manner in which Liam Cohen left Tampa Bay, but I cannot say that his offensive philosophy is poor. This guy's offense gave defensive coordinators nightmares in 2024, and it allows every player on the offense to eat. So Strange could have some breakout games this fall. Stay with us. The last word is up next.
Time now for the last word.
Yeah, this is where we will break down a story having an impact on the sports world. Chris, take it away.
David, it's got to be the shoes. Caitlin Clark's player edition Kobe's have finally hit the market and sold out in just a few minutes. Fans spotted Clark wearing the shoes months ago and even seen the Thunder's Alex Caruso wear them in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. They finally were released to the public Monday morning, and NBC Sports reported the rumored 13,000 pairs were sold out 13 minutes later and now are being resold online for up to $600. It's just one example of how everything Caitlin Clark does turns to gold, and how wherever Caitlin Clark goes, there's a gold mine. Clark's impact on the WNBA and sports world has been so powerful that Caitlin Clark Effect now has its own Wikipedia page. She received more than 1 million fan votes to earn her place as an all-star captain this year. A report evaluating her impact said last year Clark accounted for more than 26% of the WNBA's revenue. Caitlin Clark, if you're watching, I just want a pair of shoes.
Man, that's going to come with about $600. All right? Just letting you know. It's going to run you about $600. So,
David, did you have fun this week? I had fun with you today, my friend.
Hey, I had fun this week. Hey, I had fun, man. We had a good time. We had a real good time.
Good stuff. So Evan's back next week. Again, he's on vacation, 4th of July weekend, while we're working. That's just how this thing works. We'll see you back here, same time, same channel next week. Goodbye, everybody.